Runners, throughout this whole presentation, I'm going to walk you through exactly why you are experiencing that soft waist slash midsection that just won't budge and nothing has changed for years. Or if anything, it's getting worse week to week, month to month. This is really important that you dial in and listen up because this problem can only be solved from someone who understands your issue, which is why you've probably gone through online, you've gone through friends that are runners that are in a lean position, you've asked them, but everything they've told you, it hasn't worked because ultimately they're not in your position and they don't have the strategy to take you out of that problem. And also, you don't have a motivation issue. The one thing that you continuously struggle with is having confidence in your approach. And this is so important because if you don't even believe in the current approach that you're doing, how do you expect to get the result that you want? How do you expect to overcome this problem that's been on your mind and on your to-do list for years? You won't. And that's why you need to have confidence. Most runners follow the same advice that the average person would follow: eat less, run more, keto diet, juice diet. You've got fads, Slimming World, Weight Watchers, just eat in a calorie deficit, eat more protein, eat less carbs, eat less fat. This advice is good for the average person, for average fat loss. However, fat loss whilst getting faster, increasing volume, recovering from volume, it's just not going to cut it. You really need to dive into the intricacies and have something that aligns with your schedule. Because how are you expecting to increase your demand output, aka increase stress on your body, if you're decreasing the one thing that helps you recover from that stress? You won't. You'll be left with a ton of inflammation. And that's exactly why you feel soft around your stomach, because your metabolism isn't working like it used to, because your body isn't recovering anymore. And every new diet just resets your process. And this is the sort of timeline from experience what a lot of the runners that I have coached have gone through. So this isn't just me guessing. This is from me speaking to thousands of runners, what they do. Diet, meaning cut calories, any new method out there. These are the first two steps. You'll try diets, you'll try new methods, and then you quit. Why do you quit? Because you have no confidence in the outcome. Why would you stay consistent with something that isn't working? That is the definition of insanity from Albert Einstein. What you then potentially do is hire a coach, but you hire a coach that is going to take you through one of these, usually a diet, usually what will work for their other client base, but they haven't understood that you're a runner and the demands that go with that. So then you take it into your own hand to do more research. What does more research do? Pulls you into loads of different directions, conflicting advice. So then you don't have a clear focus. Because if you want to see linear results, you have to have one clear focus, one clear strategy, and understand the process. You can't do that whilst continuously researching because you're always going to get pulled into different directions. Then you quit again, and now you're back at square one. And this is why it takes years and years for runners to get out of the problem they're currently in, is because they just go through this timeline round and round and round until you get someone that understands your problem and can help you get yourself out of the issue, but understand the bottleneck, which is nutrition, but more importantly, your metabolic and hormonal health. You can't lose fat on a system that's broken. Meaning, if you are driving a long distance, right, in your car, you need it to consistently be fueled up. If you're reaching the bottom of your tank, you're going to need to refuel. Same goes for your metabolism. If your metabolism month after month isn't getting refueled from the nutrition that you need to be eating, you're going to consistently crash. And then what happens? Your body takes direct, you get symptoms, and the symptoms being fat gain, feeling tired, poor recovery, injuries start to creep on. So not only now is your running being affected, but you're gaining weight. And that's the cycle that you don't want to be in as a runner. And eventually you stop caring, and every runner deserves to feel lean, but more importantly, you deserve to enjoy the running process, because that's why we're all in this, right? Like, I'm a runner. If I started to gain loads of fat and I tried my very best to lose it and saw no results, and I saw my running times was getting slower because of it, I would stop caring and I would stop giving my all to the one thing that has helped me out for a lot of my life. So you really need to sort this out now so that the future can be happiness for yourself. And that's obviously where your metabolism suffers. The poor nutrition, poor recovery, poor training, more inflammation, more fatigue, as I just mentioned. They're all the symptoms of a slow metabolism. Even if you've got two of those, probably a sign that it's getting slower. We really need to fix that. And it is nutrition that affects everything. And also, the problem isn't your effort, like I mentioned at the start of this, like your motivation. It's that you make emotional decisions, meaning when you are finishing a long run, if you've not got someone to tell you exactly what to eat to make you go into the direction that you want to go in and get the results you want, you'll emotionally eat what you want. AKA, if you feel fat, you're going to just emotionally think, oh, I'll eat less. I gained weight overnight. Oh, what can I quickly do to make that quick fix? I'll cut carbs. Oh, my run felt heavy. I might skip breakfast tomorrow. The scales went up. Let's add another run. See how you're making emotional decisions based off of outcomes that sometimes are irrelevant. And ultimately, that's why you need a process that you have full faith and confidence in, because that's when you'll see the biggest swing of the bat and the biggest return from that is when you have full trust in something and you can understand why you're doing things, and ultimately that's when the outcome will come. And good coaches don't guess. A good thing that I do, not good, sorry, the most important thing I do is make decisions based out of logic. I make decisions based out of the data that I'm seeing. So it's very, very logical. So I will look at my client's weight, their measurements, their performance, their training, their sleep, their HRV, their heart rate, how everything looks on paper. So then I know what needs to change for the following week. Because if we plateau for 2 weeks, I'll be able to tell through looking at the data. So then I know logically something needs to change to keep you going in that right direction. And that change, I know what needs to be made because I've coached over 450 runners now, all achieve the exact same thing that you want to achieve: leaner, faster, stronger. So I know exactly if we need to increase calories, decrease calories, if we need to do refeeds, if we need to do resets throughout the whole process. That way you can look like the journey is going in a linear direction. And also you'll have a lot less stress on your shoulders because you'll be believing in what you're doing, which will allow you then to execute every week to the best of your ability, rather than questioning yourself and making those emotional decisions. And that's pretty much exactly why my 3-step system crushes. It does so well. You look through my page on Instagram, Fat Loss with Wheels, you'll see tons of testimonials, tons of results from my clients. My client base is worldwide. I coach over 30 different countries, all the way from the US, the Philippines, Europe, the UK, Canada, Australia. I've got clients killing it everywhere. And ultimately, we go through 3 simple steps in order to achieve the results that you want to achieve. We restore metabolic health through nutrition, through getting you eating the correct amount of food on all of your different days. Then I move you into a small controlled deficit on days that make sense, not your long runs, on a rest day. And we can do that on a rest day without feeling guilty because you would have recovered from your long run on your long run day. So the next 48 hours after that long run, you're not fighting yourself and you're not in a really inflamed state, hating your body, because you'd have eaten enough to recover from that session on that day. So the next 48 hours, you're actually recovering. So not only are you getting the adaptations from the run, you're not going to feel inflamed. You're actually going to feel tight. And then I teach you how to sustain these results. 92% of people that lose fat regain it in 2 years. So my job is to make you not another statistic. And also just imagine where you'd be, right? Like if you started this approach 2 years ago, you would be in a completely different position. Best time to start was always 15 years ago, 5 years ago, a month ago. The second best time is always going to be tomorrow. And ultimately, if you fix this, not only are you going to become a happier runner, but you're going to help the people around you. If you've got runners going through the same issue, you'll be able to put them into the right direction. And trust me, this is a huge problem in the running industry. I have so many runners come to me in emotional states, hating the way they look, hating the fact that they can't reach their full potential because of a simple bottleneck that can be fixed relatively easily, but you don't have the time to do it. Like that's another big part of this, right? Is that you don't have the mental capacity to put everything into making these changes alone because of all of the stuff that I just said with emotion and with not knowing when to make changes. but also time. Like, you don't have the time if you're a busy individual who goes to work, works hard, career driven, family driven. The last thing you want to do on top of all your training hours is try and put together your nutrition. So if you can outlay that stress onto someone like myself who will give you the confidence, think about how powerful that will be to the results that you want to get. You'll like 10x the return on any investment you put into yourself when you have confidence in the system, because it will not pay off today. It will pay off for the next 20-30 years, and you won't have to go through the same cycle. And nothing changes obviously until something does. You need to make a change in order for you to start seeing these changes, and that's the hardest part. You need to break your limiting beliefs in order for you to get a coach and go through a process that is different. You need to be fully committed into doing that. And in order to be fully committed into doing that, you need to change your limiting beliefs and your belief system. So if you currently believe any of the things that I said at the start of the call, like cutting calories is the way, these fads are the way, and that's going to be the way for you moving forward, this won't work for you. Overcome those limiting beliefs, realize that my system can help you become the best runner possible. That's when you'll be able to make the next step, and that's when you'll be ready to get life-changing results. And if you are ready to stop guessing and you're ready to take away that trial and error, on Instagram, message me the word system. Or if you're watching this before a consultation call, digest all of this information and look through my page as well after this and look at the results that I get and visualize it for yourself. I'm a big advocate for visualization. If you visualize the success that you want, all you then need to do is just align your actions with that. And you coming on board with me will be aligning your actions with that. And then all you need to do is take action. Then you're going to become leaner, faster, and stronger without ruining any performance. And these are results that are going to last. But I hope you found this helpful. And if you're watching this on YouTube, drop me a subscribe, drop this also a like, and comment down below your biggest takeaway.